Yes, Ram. Good evening. So
Good
this
evening.
is our fourth day training. The first day, the demo entire overview of SQL Server training. The second day is installations and how to troubleshoot installation errors if we get any known issues. And third day is resume preparation. And completely we spend a lot of time on resume preparation. And today I'm going to discuss couple of modules. Those modules are pure related to how to start up SQL Server and how to upgrade SQL Server, either migration or upgradation. The remaining most important part is how database functionality, how it's going to work. Maybe today this is pretty more enough. So let me share my screen. Just a minute, please. So
Okay.
I hope you can, yes, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
So most of the cases, what kind of issues we will get it. So another good thing I would like to tell you is day before yesterday, we installed Enterprise Edition. I hope you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But Enterprise Edition, I have uninstalled yesterday because I want to tell you a couple of things how to upgrade from one edition to another edition. Edition is like we'll discuss today's session.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yesterday, for your sake, I installed Express Edition to tell you, because if I am in Express Edition, then I can able to tell you how to either migrate or upgrade to the Enterprise or some other standard edition. I'll tell you
Okay.
today what are all
Hmm,
editions,
hmm,
what
hmm,
are
hmm, hmm.
all like versions, because that is also interview question. They'll definitely ask you how many editions are there in one version. What is the difference between edition and version? That is also one interview question. So I'm just opening, you know,
Okay.
right, how to open SSMS. Just
Yeah.
go to your Windows startup menu and just type SSMS and click on or fire up the SSMS Studio. This is by default. Here there is one interview question. Till 2016 version, till 2014 only, not 6. Till
Hmm.
2014 version, by default SSMS will be available with the executable file till 2014.
Till 2040. Okay.
So this is one interpretation. After 2016, like till from since from 2016 version, you have
Hmm.
to download SSMS as an external tool from the Google. You have to install it. But till from 2014, like 2008, 2012, 2014, in these versions, by default, SSMS will be available in the executable file itself. But from 2016, 2017, you have
Okay.
to install SSMS externally by downloading separate tool. That's the
Okay.
kind of add-on feature, add-on extra tool.
Okay.
Okay, you know, I just fired up SSMS from the startup menu. So,
Hmm.
so by default, what happened? SSMS is very pretty intelligent. SQL Server is very pretty intelligent.
Hmm.
So by default, it's
Hmm.
I did not enter my server name or host name. Host name is
Hmm.
which is a default server name. It's a
Hmm.
host means it's a
Okay.
Windows machine. Host means it's a
Hmm.
Windows machine.
Windows mission.
So
Okay.
I given it as a default name. You know what is the named instance? Another one is a default instance. I given it as a
Hmm.
named instance. Named instance means it's node one. So this is connections. The server name is this is the Windows host name. By default, you can. The other one is node one. This is the
Hmm.
SQL server name. First one is Windows server name
Hmm.
slash. I'll tell you just a minute. I hope you're getting confused. Just whenever if you want to connect to any SQL server, because SQL is hosted on Windows machine, right? SQL is installed on Windows machine, right?
Yes.
So whenever if anybody asks you, can you give me SQL server name? the format will be Windows name slash SQL server name, SQL server name.
Okay.
So in my mission, in my laptop, what is the Windows name? So I'll open the PowerShell command. So this is my PowerShell. So now here search what is your host name. Just a minute, it is opening. Host name. Okay. So this is my Windows machine name.
Oh,
So copy this.
okay. Laptop.
Yeah. Slash. This is a backslash. You know, right?
Okay.
What is a forward slash? What is the first one is backslash.
Yeah.
This one is forward slash.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a backslash slash. What is our server name? SQL server name.
Node
Node
one.
1 is our SQL server name. So you can give these details in SSMS. By default, it will be.
By
By
default.
default, it will be. Next, if
Okay.
you have any some other named instances like secondary, third one, or fourth one, you can find out the drop down list here. So browse for server, expand the database engine service. Currently, I have only one. Someone will be asked you. Someone will definitely ask you. This is also an interview question. The interview question is how to know how many SQL servers are installed in your Windows machine. This is one way. So just fire up the SSMS.
Okay.
Click on the server name drop down. Go for the
Server name.
browser. Expand. What is ours is only database engine service. The remaining three is not our
database engine.
So click on the database engine service. If you have any some other named services, that will be displayed under this one. It's like tree structure. So currently you are having only one instance. That is why the one instance will be displayed here. So click on that. This is one way to figure it out. How many instances are installed? How many SQL servers are installed? Other way is just fire up configuration manager. Just type config.
SCM. Okay.
So here you can see SQL Server 2014 configuration manager. What is 2014 here? What is 2014 here? That is our installed version. That is our SQL Server installed version. Click on it. It always needs to be opened as a manager, like administrator. So that is why it is asking say yes or no. So this is, I'll minimize it so that you can see it properly. This is SQL Server Configuration Manager. Server level configurations will be changed. It will be done it here only. Okay.
Okay.
Start or stop. Every process, again I'm saying, make a note. Every process, wherever you go, either Linux or SQL or Postgres or Windows or AWS or Azure or Google, wherever you go, any guy, every guy, to do any process, to work on any process, there are n number of procedures. There are n number of process. For example, I want to start this process. I want to start this SQL Server instance. There are n number of process. One way is through configuration. Other way through by using SSMS. Other way by using PowerShell command. Other way by using. There are n number of process.
Okay.
I like to tell you. For example, one task I given to you is, hey Ram, can you go ahead and stop this particular SQL server? Yes, I do have n number of procedures. One way is through SSMS. Other way is through configuration manager. There are multiple procedures to do or to any kind of activities in real-time IT environment. That is, you just wanted to keep this thing in mind.
Okay.
If someone asks you, hey, I want you to do it through the SSMS, yes, it's possible. Hey, I want you to start the SQL server by using configuration manager. Yes, it's possible. I'll tell you how to do those things. In configuration manager, these are all the 5 parameters which you can watch here, which you can see it here. So click on the SQL service. Here also you can see how many SQL servers were installed. There is one, the last type is service type, right? Click on this service type.
Service type.
Only
Okay.
one you can see.
SQL Server.
If you see any other like SQL Server, that is also another instance. Don't get confused. What is instance? Typically he's using the word instance. What do you mean by instance? Instance means one SQL server is called as official. The word is called as instance. Making
Okay.
sense? Making sense?
In a copy of SQL Server is nothing but an instance, right?
It's a server name is also called as instance.
Server name is also called an instance. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because you know, right,
Right.
what is a default instance, what is a named instance. People can usually, they can call it as SQL Server. Like out of DBA background people, definitely they used to call it as a SQL Server. Or some people, they'll call it as a database also.
Okay.
Some
Okay.
people will call it as a DB server also. But
Okay.
official word is a instance. SQL instance.
Instance.
Yeah. I
Okay.
do have a
Okay.
number of instances in my project.
Hmm.
Because officially, since you are a real-time DBA guy, so you should definitely say the word as instance.
Instance.
Please
Okay.
keep it in mind. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
here these are all the services. One is SQL Server. It is running. Can you see the state of this SQL Server node 1?
Yeah, it's in running mode.
Okay. The other, this one is node 1. Can you tell why it is stopped? So can I
SQL
start it
Server.
now? Can I start it now? It's disabled. Can you see it is disabled? Can you tell me why it is
No.
disabled? Why I cannot able to, I can definitely guarantee you 100 out of 100%. 100 out, I mean 110% you cannot able to start this. Can you tell me why?
Mm, we have to enable in SSMS.
Okay, for your sake, I just logged into my SQL server. But the agent service itself is
Management.
not available. Where is the service? I don't know where it is from. Okay,
Management.
so yeah, so I'll expand the management. Anyways, I'll give some time chance to you. You just need to tell me that. Since you're
Oh,
a
okay.
DBA guy, you have to tell me because at least you have basic idea. So can you be 1 minute mute, Ram? Just a minute, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Ram. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So I'll give you one
Okay.
logic now.
Okay.
So I'll copy this and paste it to you. This is your today's task. Why I'm not able to see agent service here.
Yeah.
I think I did not copy. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I given this message to you. This is your today's task. You can take a screenshot of anything, whatever it is. It's very simple.
Okay.
This is one of the interview question. This
Mm.
task is, I hope it's very clear to you. Thing is, why I'm not able to see the agent service here. Other thing is, why the start option is disabled here. There is no start option here. Only properties is enabled. It's very simple. You try your best. If you are not able to figure it out, tomorrow I'll address your question. Okay.
Sure.
It's very
Okay.
simple. It's a
Okay.
mandatory question. Mandatory.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe I think I'll cover it in today's end of the session. I think so. But meanwhile, just try to figure it out. At least try your analysis. Do your R&D if you get a chance of time. Okay. So
Okay.
perfect. That's perfect. Let me go back. So I'm gonna start. Pretty much what is a configuration manager. Configuration manager is like it's going. It's going to hand over all the SQL server by using the configuration manager. You can do start a service. You can start a service. If you wanted to change any TCP IP port, yes, by using configuration manager. If you want to change by default username and login, there is a generic. Any project, if you see, there will be a generic and a unique username and passwords. If you wanted to change any of username password for particular service by using configuration manager. For example, if you wanted to
Okay.
set up, so the another interview question is, so SQL Server startup mode is manual. How you will change it automatic? By using?
Through SC
Come on.
configuration.
No. Yes, configure. You are right. So by using SQL Server Configuration Manager.
Configuration.
So other question is, SQL Server, it's running up. It's already running. Okay.
Mm.
Can you able to change it? The startup type should be automatic when it is running.
Uh,
Can you try it in your local machine, or you want me to tell the answer? You understand my question, right? I hope you know already startup parameters. That is why I did not discuss, because this we discussed in the first session, startup parameters.
mm.
Anyways, I'll cover it later on. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
now always, if it is a production server, if it is a production box, we
Mm.
always ensure server needs to be automatic.
Okay.
Next, this is only for standalone production servers. If it is a cluster,
Mm.
if it is a cluster, it should be always manual. Make note. Please
Okay.
take a note in your book.
Okay.
If it is
Standalone
a
else.
cluster,
Mm.
if it is a cluster, then the startup type should be automatic.
Okay.
If it is
Start
a
mode will
standalone,
be
yeah, you cannot make it as automatic, because cluster means there are two boxes, dependency is there, but standalone there is no dependency.
okay.
So you understand, right? The server name, you know what is a Windows, other one what is a, how you can pass the server name and SQL server name. By default, Windows. Other good thing is, nobody knows, I think so. If it is only one server, you can give dot. Sometimes, not every time, I think so. Let me give slash, because this one I think so. Okay, I'll tell you later on when I'm migrating to Enterprise Edition. Okay.
Okay.
So one thing I covered. Another thing is how
Okay.
to change startup. Otherwise, start type. I mean, automatic or manual. That you know answer.
Mm.
So other thing is
How to change started. Yeah.
that you know. Next thing is, even sometimes they will ask, what is the configuration manager? Okay, configuration manager. This is also one
Mm.
inter question.
Mm.
Next thing is how to change default
All
SQL,
for port name.
default SQL port by using. If you want, I'll tell you later
SQL.
on. So thing is, I
Okay.
opened it. Now, what's our roles and responsibilities on daily basis? Normally, in my project, what I will do, DBA roles and responsibilities.
Mm.
So here, main thing is daily checking health check. Service is running up or not. What is health check? Disk monitoring, jobs,
Okay.
job status. Is there any failed job? If it is failed, one job got failed. What do you want it to do with that job? You have to look into the view history, why it is failed. That and all we'll discuss going forward. Job status, disk monitoring
Yes.
also here.
Oh,
Sometimes shrinking the log files. This is also our daily duty. Either log or
okay.
MDF or LDF. 90% MDF will not be, only
Budget
LDF.
or MLD.
Yeah. You know what does LDF and LDF, I think so. Master data file, log data file,
Okay.
log disk file.
Yeah.
It
Log
will,
data file.
yeah, master
Okay.
data file. Okay. So job
Okay.
status and blockings, and deadlocks. Sometimes they'll call it as some of the queries, some of the transactions taking pretty much time. So why it is? You have to figure it out. Is there any deadlocks or
Long running
blocks?
queries.
Yeah. Creating users and granting permissions. The first question is what is your roles and responsibilities? This is for your first question in interview.
Okay.
So very rare cases, backups, taking backups. So very rare cases like weekly once or twice, DB refresh. Refresh means like like you will take the prod backup, production box backups.
Okay.
You will restore into either dev or QA server.
Okay.
It looks like pretty simple, right? But a lot of challenges and you will take care of it here. You will face a lot of challenges.
Okay.
Restore into either dev or QA server.
QA server.
I'll tell you what kind of issues we may face it in this scenario later on.
Okay.
So next thing is creating jobs, creating alerts. These are the pretty much common for everybody. Any of the database administrator, any of doesn't irrespective of either a SQL Server or Postgres or Cassandra or Mongo or Aurora database, whatever it is, even either in Oracle as well. So this is the pretty common for each and every database administrator. The developers will not do this. This is not their roles and responsibilities. Developers is like developing code, developing applications. Their responsibilities are quite different. Okay. So in worst cases like index creation, this is developer only, but in some cases we will only do primary key creations, dropping, not always creating, sometimes also dropping above, dropping databases or creating databases, installations. You know what is installations, right? SQL Server installations. How many roles and responsibilities you already know. So SQL installations, and most of the scenarios I'm going to discuss here. Is there anything which is important?
Installations, yeah.
And yeah, configurations, high availability, or disaster recovery. That's I forgot. It's most important. These are very rare cases, not every day. Configurations of either HA means
okay.
high availability or disaster recovery. Very rare cases. These are like typically in a week or 2 weeks once or monthly once or yearly once. Fixing issues. These are the most important. Like whatever it is, fixing backups or jobs or restorations or HA or DR or access issues, service, start or stop, etc. etc. There are plenty of things to discuss, but the most important is enough. Okay, I think these are the most important. I hope you know these are all like most important to be in active DBA in any of the organization. Okay, so these are all the roles. Most of the cases, the health check. Let me discuss a couple of things here. So before that, another good thing is I'll continue with this point for now. Configurations of not the one. I think one more thing I forgot before these roles and responsibilities. I forgot to tell you one thing that is related to after SQL Server installation. There are a couple of prerequisites. Okay. Can you hear me? Ram, can you hear me? Ram, I can't hear you.
Hello,
Yeah, I can hear you now. So yes, Ram. So before prerequisites, before installation of SQL Server, we already discussed what are all the prerequisites and what are all to install SQL Server that we already discussed. Now I'm going to tell you few things. The next interview question is, hey Ram, I installed SQL Server, but I would like to know whether it is successfully passed or failed. Either it is a passed or failed. So this is one interview question. After installation, I want to know, is it successfully installed or failed? So how to figure it out? I'll tell you now. So to answer that question, just open your default installation path. Everything on C drive. Installation will be on C drive, right?
Yeah.
So go to the programmable files, MSSQL server. The version is 120. Setup bootstrap. The folder is setup bootstrap. You have to tell me there is a one log file. There is one log file under setup bootstrap. Okay.
Okay.
Here there is one log folder.
Okay.
In that there is one summary. Can you tell me this is? But you don't need to create it. By default, you will get it if it is successfully passed or failed. Just open it.
Okay.
So after opening, there is one first line is what is this line?
Passed.
Final result is passed. If it is failed, you can see why it is failed and what are all the failed. So what are all the services failed. So now question is, there is one text summary file that is available under bootstrap
Okay.
and log folder. So this is the location you have to tell them. This is one interview question.
Okay.
Make sure this will be definitely. I mean, whatever I'm discussing with you, I'm not saying 100% you will get these questions. It depends on the conversation between you and interview person.
Okay.
Because if they start with installation, if they ask you like how you will install SQL Server, you will start all this process.
Okay.
So if they ask you what are your roles and responsibilities, you will discuss these much pretty enough. This is required more than 1 minute, more than 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm just mentioning here just only the naming of that particular activity. I'm not saying very, because it may get confused for you. In interview, you will go with a lot of in-depth on this particular activity.
Okay.
Okay. Hope it is making sense, right?
Yes.
So this is one interview question. Next thing is roles and responsibilities we discussed. So types of DBAs in IT market. You already know it. What kind of database types? Database types in the sense like Oracle, MySQL, MSSQL, MongoDB, Postgres, Cassandra, MongoDB, NoSQL databases. Most of there are only two types. One is structured query language databases, no structure or non-structured databases. Okay. Few guys will ask you what is the difference. So RDBMS is like relationship database management. Database management system that you can see it in my blog as well. If you search in Google, you'll get my blogs. Giri SQL DBA. If you search in Google as Giri SQL DBA, you will get my blogs links. So you can see what is the different types and what is a database, by the way. Okay. In short and sweet, database meaning is to collecting all the data objects into small pieces and they'll keep it in database. Database is a combination of data files or objects. Very simple. Don't buy hard in Google. Just say which is a combination of. Someone asks you what is a database. Database is a collection of objects or data into their own structured query language, which is in the format of structured query language. Is it clear? If someone asks you what is a database, can you tell me? Which is a combination of or collection of data files
database
or
objects.
Yeah, database objects. The format is query language. Is in the format of query language. Very simple and small. Don't buy hard in Google and say that answer because nobody likes it. The next thing is the roles and responsibilities, types of DBAs, This Oracle will run always in Linux. Unix is the basement of Linux. Linux is all query language with
ఇది కొంచెం
files and
డిఫరెన్స్
commands.
చెప్తారండి. లైనక్స్ అంటే యూనిక్స్ అంటే అది రెండు
Unix
ఒకటే
is
అంటారా లేకపోతే
both are same, but Unix is the fundamental. It's like a child, like it's a basic. Linux is the advanced version of the Unix.
ఓకే ఓకే
Both are same.
ఓకే
Because Linux is the open source. It's a free tier. No need to purchase anything. If you need any support, then only you need to pay for that support. Linux is like one template which is available in everywhere. You can download from online or Google or any social media or any their they will be having their own blogs. You can download Linux from their blogs. You can customize however it is required to your project. That is one of the beauty of Linux. You can download a template from online or from the open source companies. You can customize, you can build the Linux missions as per your project needs, as per your project needful. That is the beauty of Linux. But Windows, you have to purchase from the Microsoft. Windows is the product of Microsoft. It's PowerShell is heart of the Windows. So everything you can do by using a PowerShell, or you can do with the graphical user interface. That is called as GUI. Some people call it as GUI. Some people call it as graphical user interface. Some people call it as GUI. The naming convention, the naming pronunciation is based on the way you are interacting with your people. Some people knows what is CLI. Some people don't know what is command line interface. Some people know what is GUI, but they don't know abbreviation of GUI, full form of GUI. It's all like, I'm not saying I'm intelligent person. I'm not going to say it as I'm intelligent person, but even some people, they know their names according to their environment. Right? Okay. So we are going out of box. I don't want to go out of box, but Oracle is Linux and Unix also.
Linux, okay.
Postgres works on the Linux, but it is a structure query language. Even Oracle also, it's a structure query language. In some cases, you can write a SQL queries.
Okay.
MSSQL is the main hub of RDBMS, which is a Microsoft product. It's a structure query language. It is used to manipulate and configure and operate applications by using structure query language. Okay. So don't go too much out of SQL Server. Just you wanted to know how many types of databases available. What are those? At least some basic fundamentals is my basic fundamentals.
Okay.
So that's most important. Now focus on the database. Okay. So let me go back to my training part. The one thing is I discussed. We are going to start with module 1, the roles and responsibilities of database administrator. Types of databases. History of SQL Server. Like it's like Microsoft product is implemented in 2005. Even 1997 also, not 1990, 1990s also Microsoft released this version, but nobody worked on it. So the version of SQL Server based on the year they will naming as a version.
Okay.
If they release the latest version in 2019, they'll call it as a 2019 version. In 2014, they released one version. That is why they are calling as a, just keep it, this is one shortcut for you. One clue for you, one logic or clue, whatever you call it as. So they released one version in 2014 version. That is why they are calling it as a 2014 version. Right? But in Postgres, the versions is quite opposite. Either 9.7 or 9.5 or 11.1 or 12.5, like that. Okay. So next one is to connect like Linux boxes, sorry, Oracle databases. They used to go with the PuTTY tool. The difference I'm talking with PuTTY tool. PuTTY, I hope you know.
Okay.
The PuTTY tool is like you can take RDP to Linux servers. Under Linux server, there is Oracle databases. The other thing is MSSQL server. To connect MSSQL server, you require another extra tool that is called as SSMS. Who is providing this
XMS.
SMS?
Okay.
Microsoft developed this SMS and given
Microsoft.
to you. So SSMS is like a
Okay.
graphical user interface.
Okay.
So
So like that,
tool is
we
pretty
Putty tool you use it to connect Oracle, right?
database servers. Absolutely, you're right.
Okay.
There are a lot of
Okay.
database
Okay.
tools, but most of the guys are using Putty.
Okay.
Again, I'm not going very much in depth on the Putty because to connect to the Putty, you require private and public key along with SSH
Okay.
key is required for that. I'm not going to. You may get confused. If you
Okay.
want to go with any Azure or AWS, at that moment I'll talk with you regarding.
Okay.
Don't get
Okay.
confused now. Just to know what is the
Okay.
difference between. Definitely they'll ask you what is the difference between Oracle and SQL Server. Why I want to go with SQL Server. Definitely this is one inter question. That is why I'm focusing a little bit on it.
Okay.
This is one inter question. What is the difference between databases? How many databases? This is definitely one of the question in interview.
Okay.
So SSMS is for MSSQL Server. PG admin is for Postgres. That is one tool. Other tool is
PGF.
terminal. Other tool is terminal.
Terminal.
Terminal is for to connect Postgres. Even terminals also is used for Oracle. Like these are all like open source tools. Few are open source. SSMS is free tool. You don't need to purchase. You don't need to pay any money for it. You can download it from. Putty also is open source. You don't need to pay any bucks for that.
Okay.
It's open source. It's a free trial.
Okay.
So, do you want me to tell what is a domain?
What is domain? Domain.
So, when you are installing any server, by default, it will be in work group. Work group. After adding the server into your domain, then only it will call it as your server, your company, your project server. Now, as I told you, by default, server will be in work group. Can you see it as a work group? Okay. So if you have any domain, you can add the server into domain.
Okay.
That I'll discuss with you how to change into the domain. Later I'll tell you. Not now because it's not at all required for you, but just to aware. Sometimes you have to add server into domain. Then only, for example,
Grouping of servers. Domain
is a collection of the servers. Every company will have their own domain.
Okay.
Because the domain will be their own control.
Okay.
So who can add the server into your domain? You are not authorized to do it because you are a SQL DBA. Your work is to only deal with SQL. The Windows and infrastructure will take care of that.
Okay.
But I know what is a domain and how to configure domain. That and all I don't. But that will be not possible in this kind of server. This is just server, the laptop operating system. This is computer operating system.
Okay.
If you go with server operating system, then you can definitely, even you can also add this server into a group, but now it is, I don't want to put you in, like, I don't want to kill your kind of awareness regarding domain and how to add the server into domain and work group. Just awareness. But for example, if you want to configure any mirroring, if you want to configuring any always on, if you want to configure any cluster or whatever it is, availability also, server should be in the same domain.
Okay.
That is the basic prerequisite. But in the latest versions, if we do have two servers in two different domains, they are providing some other alternative path, alternative solution. But don't get confused. If you have two servers in same domain, then you can configure everything and everywhere, and it's pretty easy for you to manipulate and operate for DBA guy.
Okay. Okay.
So next thing is, types of versions. I'll make a note here. I hope you know about it. I think so. So this is also one interview questions. Not every guy will not be asking you. Only few guys will ask you. Every guy will not be asking you.
Okay.
So what is an edition and what is a version? First, let me talk with you regarding versions.
Mm.
Okay.
Which year is
So
called
version
version?
is like first one
Okay.
is 2000 also is there in SQL Server, but nobody knows it. Nobody is using.
Okay. Okay.
2018 one version is there.
Mm.
Sorry.
2008, 8 or 2,
2008 or
1,
2. Okay.
12, 14.
12. In middle there is no versions because they are developing in middle like where is it 2009, 2010, 2011. Where is that? It's not a sequence order.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
in middle they might be getting a lot of I'll cover it few days.
Okay.
So they'll ask you, do you have experience on 2017? Can you say no?
No, I have experience. I need to tell I have experience.
Yeah, I know the general knowledge previously. I mean, my client used only 1 hour servers. 2017 we used to migrate into the Azure cloud. Like you may get
Okay.
options to migrate from. There is one disaster recovery kind of
Others.
like backup restore kind of from 2016. Above that there is no
Oh,
Azure. Okay, so these
mm,
are all like
mm.
versions.
Okay.
So here I mentioned as RTM and CP. What do you mean by RTM and CTP? Do you have idea?
Yeah, ready to manufacture RTM. Test.
Release to
Sorry, release
manufacture.
to
CTP is
manufacture.
nothing but technical community technical preview.
Okay.
So, so directly whatever they develop and whatever, because every version will be having added advantage features, right?
Mm,
There are a lot of changes. There are a lot of enhancements. So
mm,
blindly they'll develop an application and whatever they'll develop a SQL Server software and they'll never release it to the market. Before
mm.
that, they'll release RTM preview version. That
Okay.
means they'll give a chance to test all kind of vendors or clients
Mm,
or dealers
mm,
or
mm,
project customers. So they
mm,
can test it. And there is some specific team in outside of IT vendor all over the globe,
mm,
all over the world. So they'll take
mm,
this 2019 version and they'll test it.
mm.
Even like for now, I think they released the product as well with the license key. That is called as SP1
SP service. Okay.
service pack.
Okay.
So if they, for example, now SP1 already released into the market. Now,
Mm,
if any one guy complained, hey, I'm not getting this point, this option, hey, I'm getting some issues with this particular options, or some other like this product is not built in functions, or some of the issues are figuring out with the 2019 version, the Microsoft will take that as their test case or some case with them, and they'll try to figure it out. That is called as fix around hard fixes. They'll do a lot of club into this particular SP1. After resolving all those features or errors or bugs, they'll release into the SP.
okay.
For example,
Okay.
couple of bugs on SP1. Some of the clients are complained, some of the customers are complained to Microsoft in SP1. They fix it and they will be released into the SP. Still, some of the clients are complaining. Some of the customers of Microsoft they raised some of the bugs. Then only it will release to. Then only they will release that, and they will give another SP3. Even here, some of the hard fixes also will be. Some of the new features also will be. Some of the latest enhancements also will be. You know what is the service packs now, right?
Yeah.
Service packs is a combination of hard fixes,
Hard
cumulative
fixes.
updates,
Okay.
and
Mm,
bug fixes also. Some of the features
okay.
also will come into the picture.
Mm,
Okay, at least some basic
okay.
idea. What do you mean by service pack? Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yes. Yes.
So if someone asks you, hey, what is versions? Can you tell them?
2005, 8, 8 r 2, 12, 14,
Yeah.
16,
Versions means they are
17.
releasing new
Did it resume?
new
Yes.
service based SQL version. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. Okay, let it be. It is a notepad, right? I cannot, highlight it or modify or
Okay.
underline
Yes,
whatever
it
it is.
is. Okay.
So now editions.
Mm,
So here only I'll make a note. If it is in Paint, it will be pretty easy for you. In my native there is one marriage today, so I hope you can hear some what is that called, band malam or something, whatever it is.
Okay.
Some sounds are coming, right? Music sounds or something.
From my side?
No, from my side.
Okay.
So most important for every guy is enterprise. Okay, enterprise is a one
Okay.
edition. Next one is standard. Next one is dev. Next one is, there are some business IE also, there is one edition. Or add that's nothing to worry. Express or evolution. These are the most important in wherever you go. These are the editions. Now I'll make, so now you may get one question. So is these editions are free? Is these editions are free? I'll make it very simple for you. For example, just imagine if enterprise edition is some,
all editions are not free.
I'll make it as from 4 lakhs. Just even I don't have idea how much it's going to charge based on the price. Everything. There is one accountant team in sales, and sales team is there in Microsoft. They will handle this on all based on your requirement. For example, you required only 2016 license key only for one mission. I required 2016 license key for 20 missions. Maybe some other of one of your friend required 2017 version for 50 missions. Price is not same for everybody. Price is not same. Even they do have their own vouchers. Even they sales team also will provide some of the discounts for existing customers. If they feel you are the valued customer for them, they'll give you some discount on the license key. They do have their own terms and conditions. Now just imagine standard price is 6 lakhs. Then standard will be like enterprise is 4 lakhs. Standard will be somewhere around some 4 lakhs, 3 lakhs. Price I'm talking about.
Okay.
They will be 2 lakhs on an average. I'm talking about. Don't figure it out. Don't that this is the correct. This is not accurate. Just for your shake, I'm giving. Now, Giri, hey Giri, why I want to go and pay 4 lakhs for Microsoft for enterprise? Why can't I go with Express? The question is triggered. Still, the question I think is triggering in your mind, right? Even interview question also will be in sometimes interview question also will be. Enterprise is free, right? Why should I go with? Why should I go with enterprise? Express? I'm sorry, Express is free. Express is free. Why should I go with enterprise? Why should I go with enterprise? Enterprise is 4 lakhs. Why should I go with that, man?
So
because
some features are not
enterprise will be having all. I hope my question 100% will be having each and every features and service.
Okay.
All features you will get it in enterprise. Okay.
Okay.
So in even this is also one question. What is the difference between editions? What kind of features you will get it? In standard, some set of like always on, only some always on, like there are two modes. One is
Replication.
there are always on. There are two types. I hope you know those. What are those?
High security.
No, that is on mirroring.
To,
Okay, that we'll discuss later on. Only few, because
okay.
we are only discussing basic concept here, right? So
Okay.
always on only some features will be less. Dev, like
Mm,
always on you cannot configure. There are a lot of needs and service alerts, something kind of, and database size also will not be bigger. Only few databases will be like that. Only some few
mm,
services you will get it. Not all built-in functions, stored processes you will not get it. All the default functionality, only basic will be here. That is why price is less. Now let's talk about Express.
okay.
Few services you will not get it. Database
Mm,
size also, this is also one intro question. Database size should not be more than 10 GB. You cannot restore it.
10.
Some
Okay.
services you will not get it.
Mm,
So this is the difference. Now this is very pretty clear to you. Enterprise editions and what is the difference also, it's pretty clear to you. Now these 5
mm,
edition guys will be available
mm,
for each and every guy in whichever the version you will be. Just a minute. Auto.
okay.
Just a minute. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't want this. Oh, I don't want this. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, let it be. So now, sorry. So now these editions will be available for every guy. Any version if you go, this will be available. Editions are common for every guy. Even features also will be released based on the editions only. Are you getting the point now?
Okay.
Whichever version, yes, 20. So MySQL server is 2008 enterprise. You can ask me like any of the client, even based on your previous companies, you will easily figure it out. So now I hope you understand, right? Is there any confuse for you? So these are the common editions, mandatory and common
No.
every version. So another good thing is if you face any, for example, in your production server, in your project, you are using 2005 version. Do you know one thing? If you face any issues in your 2005
Okay.
version, Microsoft is not going to provide you support because they ended up support for 2005, even
Mm,
2008, even 2008 R2 also. Microsoft is not
mm,
going to provide you any kind of support. You purchased license key from Microsoft, right? They're not going to provide you support for these versions because it's older. Their support is expired. They stopped it. These versions are retired. I can say it as retired from Microsoft. Okay, clear? For example, if you're using 2012, your database is not working. There is something wrong with your database. As a DBA admin, you try to troubleshoot it, but still you cannot able to do it. So in that case, you will raise a ticket or case to Microsoft. Either they'll come to your on-premises to provide the support, or through the meeting or phone call or email, they'll provide support if your product is 2012 or 2014. Even 2019 also, till only for this box they are providing support. Is it clear for you? Only for this, Microsoft is going to provide support. Ram, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, Ram, I think you can hear me, right?
వినిపిస్తుందండి. యా ఫ్రమ్ 2012 వర్షన్స్ నుంచి మనకి మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ సపోర్ట్ ఉంటుంది. ప్రీవియస్
అవునండి.
వర్షన్స్ కి లేదు అంతే.
Yes, you are right. You are right. So if you are running on, if your SQL server is running 2012 or 2014, even they are also trying to retire 2012 also. You cannot purchase license key for 2008 because they already retired. The product itself is not available with the Microsoft. Is there any doubt on editions? And even you do have, there are some number of like business intelligence edition, like something like report builder edition. Those are not required for us. Only those are required for developers outside of DB admin. Okay.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Clear.
Do you have any questions on it? So till now, do you have any questions, Ram? I think SV service packs, you know, if any issues on SP1,
లేదండి. Okay.
if you have any issues on SP1, if Microsoft fixes that issue and they'll release on the SP2, you can download and install SP2. That is officially called as patching.
Okay.
Because if any issues on SP1, if you raise a ticket or case to the Microsoft, they will release. If the issue is on globally, every customer is facing that issue. Sometimes they'll release into the hot fixes or cumulative updates. Sometimes they will release that issue into the latest SP1. Sorry, latest SP2.
Okay.
Hope it is clear, right?
Clear.
Hope it is clear.
Yes. Clear.
Okay. Fine. Perfect. So, as you know already, instance types in SQL are one is default instance, other one is named instance. Default instance means while you were installing, by default, if you're not giving any naming, by default, it will take it as a default instance. That is called as server name only. Which server? Windows server name only. SQL server, you can call it as MSSQL server. By default name is MSSQL. Other one is named instance. Named instance means you are manually defining your server name. So that is, you know, difference. This is also one interview question. How many types of instances in SQL server? One is default, other one is named instance.
Named instance.
Yes. So SQL Server services. This is also one question. What is instance aware service? What is instance unaware service? Instance aware service is like database engine service, agent service, reporting service, replication service. Okay. These are all instance, even agent also. These are all agent aware services. Instance aware unaware service is like browser also, I can call it as browser. So even if you fire up, I'll show you to you one thing. Windows R. The services.msc. So if you go here, till there are a lot of, because these are all few are running, because these are all related to Windows machine only. So if you go here, if you go with SQL, because we are dealing with SQL, right? This is SQL server running. This is, even here also you can stop and stop. This is also one. Can you see stop and pass? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Even this is also one way to stop a SQL server service, to stop and start. Even if you want to change anything, here also you can do. This is also similar kind of configuration manager only. This is Windows based tool. Service tool is Windows based. This one is Windows based. SQL server VSS writer, we don't care it. This is instance aware only. So these are all kind of questions you will get it in interview. Okay. Next one is, you know this one pretty well. Till now, do you have any questions, Ram? Ram, I think you can hear me. Your net is very dull.
No అండి లేదు.
Okay. I marked
మీ వాయిస్
this.
నాకు క్లియర్
Okay, that's
ఉంది.
perfect. That's perfect. So above is done. That is why I marked it as a yellow. Clear?
Okay.
So now the second module is installation SQL Server configuration and upgradation. Installation already we covered it yesterday. You know what are all the prerequisites. You know how to installation.
Yeah.
And post installation, few things you know, few things I wanted to tell you now. Post installation, I'll tell you now. So here editions, you know, I'll just make some enterprise. I'm sorry, my English is very bad. Standard Dev Express evaluation. This is enough. The next thing is post installation prerequisites. That is, we will call it as installation or verification, whatever the naming is benefit for you, you can call it that. Okay. So now here you need to make sure summary log file either passed or failed. Okay. Next one is server running or not. Server startup type. I'm sorry. So next one is login ID generic.
Right?
Yeah, production box means it's again I told you one thing. If it is standalone, then startup should be automatic. You need to discuss with your team. You need to ensure, you need to manage with your, you need to engage with your application team along with your developers.
Okay.
How much important to your clients, based on that you have to make it as automatic.
Okay.
If you disable it, it will never start until you manually start it. Okay.
Okay.
So if it is standalone, then automatic is best practice. It's highly advisable from Giri. If it is cluster, it's manual. No. If it is a cluster, manual. Yeah.
Manual. Okay.
I'm telling you a lot of
standalone అయితే automatic ఉండాలి.
Yes, I'm telling you a lot of important points. Please make one shortcut text in your book. Don't write it full lengthy because you can't concentrate with my talking about, right? So make it some short, like shortcuts or keynotes in a notebook. Once post this session, you can make it a very clear notebook.
Clear. Okay.
So generic login ID, username and password, and database files. Here database files are correctly kept or not. And memory, most important. Memory. Next, in latest versions that nobody is dealing pretty much, but in a latest like max top settings, parallelism. Okay. This one is not server running or not, server or services, both. Some people call it a server, some people call it a service, but official word is service. These are most important. Okay. Automatic. And these are the most, because if you check it, this is similar kind of health check also. The first one, summary log file will be available in the Bootstrap. Server starting or stopping, you can check it through the SSMS, or you can check it through the services.msc. You can check it through the configuration manager, pretty much. Server type always needs to be automatic if it is a production box. Login generic ID, we discussed while installing. Login I given it as a default. But every
Mm.
project they'll give you one default login ID. You can use that login ID for all the production boxes, because that
Okay.
login ID will be having admin kind of rights. Please make a note. Admin rights should be for that login ID. Otherwise, backup
Okay.
also it will fail.
Okay.
Automation
Mm.
backup also it will fail.
Okay. Admin rights will be.
Yeah, admin rights for that ID. Even your Windows team will
Okay.
assign admin rights for that.
Okay.
But not like super user. They're not like super user. Like
Mm.
super user, which is similar kind of domain level admin, who
Okay.
has AD level administration. We will never get a
Mm.
AD level administration because we are not part of Windows or infrastructure team. We are a part of database team.
Okay. Okay.
Next,
Okay.
now we are going to deal not much database files. As we
Mm.
discussed, to maintain the consistency and performance, you need to ensure right click on server name, go to the properties, go to the database. Can you see here database settings?
Mm.
By default, C drive. Can you see his C drive? You have to change it.
Okay.
So there is an option.
Data.
Right side, there is an option, three dots. Go to the
Mm.
database. I mean, div. There is a data. We created that day. SQL data.
O-
Click on it.
Okay.
So now we kept database data files on D drive, but log files will be on E drive.
Log folder. Okay. E
Because
drive.
because performance, if you want to increase, if you want to reduce the performance, like if you want to fix the performance issue, this is also one of the key factor. This is also one of the
Okay.
key innovative factor. This is how you can you
Okay.
can increase the optimization.
Mm. Mm.
So
Mm.
next one is backup. I think I kept it on
Mm.
backup on H drive. So yes,
H.
here it is.
F. Yes. Okay.
No, oh no, but in F drive backups.
Okay.
Okay, this is one way. So I set it up. And memory. There's another option is called as memory. So as I
Mm.
told you, what is the best practice to assign some memory percentage to the SQL server? I told you, I hope you remember.
80% to SQL Server,
Absolutely, you
20%
are right.
Windows.
You are in correct page. 80%
Mm.
of the RAM you assign to the SQL server.
SQL.
Remaining 20% of RAM, please assign to the operating
Windows.
system,
Operating system.
because
Okay.
it has to manage all these services, right? Operating system need to manage all these services, not only
Mm.
SQL. So
Okay.
now you know, right? So give some whatever it is, like some 10 GB based on your RAM. How to figure it out? RAM. Go to my PC.
My PC, right click
Then
properties.
also some people don't know how to figure it out my RAM. Go to my PC and right click on. There are a lot of ways, as I told you, in all over the globe for everything. Now my GB, like my RAM is 8 GB.
8 GB.
This is my
Okay.
personal laptop. That is why it's slow. But in production box, you will get 32 GB or 64 GB like that. In 8 GB,
Okay.
8 GB, what is 80%? It's around some 6.4.
6. Yeah.
So 6.4 into what is 1 GB? Open the calculator. So 6.4 into, I hope you know, I don't want to discuss these are all because this is all like LKGP process can tell you. 1 GB,
102.
how many RAM? How much RAM?
102.
So
102. 6
6553. 6553.
MB.
So now
Okay.
6553 is because we are already it is in MB format. So
Mm.
6553 is just 80% of your RAM. The minimum is
Yes.
little bit 0. So click
Okay.
OK. These are the most
Okay.
important. So next are all like permissions, that's on you don't require. So that minimum memory that we already discussed.
Mm.
So minimum memory is done, and something data files is done. Next up is not required. This is not it's since from 2016 it is, because I'll tell you later on. Sometimes what is a maxed up
Okay.
interpretation also will be. Just make somewhere this one in your notepad. Ask me later. Now it is not required for you. You may get confused also.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you because that is required 1 hour minimum to tell you clear picture.
Oh, okay.
So next thing is, yes, the most important is system databases.
Mm.
That is also your prerequisites. System DBs. Okay. So
Okay.
now here, if you go to your SSMS, one most important interview question is Hey, Ram, I want you to
Mm.
take it MDB back and I want you to give me the back file. This is my interview question to
Mm.
you. Again, I'll repeat my question. I'm the interviewer. You are my
Uh,
person. I'm going to interview to you. My first
mm.
question is, hey Ram, I want to move one temp from one server to another server. So I need a backup file. Can you do it for me, please?
No అండి MDB బ్యాకప్ చేయలేము.
You're absolutely right. TempDB backup is not possible. This is also one of the major important interview questions. Please make a note.
ఓకే ఓకే
Only backups are possible. The remaining databases, master, model, and MSDB. I'll
ఓకే
cover it. What are the roles and responsibilities of these DBs? I'll cover it. Now,
ఓకే
I wanted to change my TempDB files because always please ensure and make sure to keep MDB files in different location, please.
ఓకే
Right, I'll tell you because by using alter command you can do it. I'll tell you how to do it. Even if you Google it, you will also get it. I'll tell you later on. The next
ఓకే
very much important thing is, I think I may cover it in the next module, but anyways, here there is a chance. So the very much important thing is auto growth maximize settings. By default is 10% unlimited. This is also one interview
10%.
question. What is auto growth by default settings? 10% is by
10%.
default. But
ఓకే
you always need to ensure this is worst case. This is a very bad configurations. You need to give in megabytes.
ఓకే
Because I'll tell you why this is very much important. I'll tell you. I'll give if it is
ఓకే
a production database, user database, it's all based on your application growth. Per day, if it is increasing like 1 GB, for example, it's all based on your application. Please make a note. This is not mandatory for everybody. Based on
ఓకే
application growth. For example, like Facebook. For example, like WhatsApp. See, WhatsApp in a day, how much data files, how much images, how much videos are shareable, sharing in outside market. So they need to ensure like minimum this much space should be.
ఓకే అండి ఇప్పుడు ఈ పారామీటర్స్ అనేది మనం అంటే
As
ఇది
a
ఎవరిని
database
సెట్ చేస్తారు?
engineer, as a database administrator, you have to take care of it. This is
ఓకే
also
ఓకే
parameters like performance parameters.
ఓకే ఓకే
You're getting the point. So always
yes
by default 10% you just give based on the in megabytes only, whatever you like, say either 200 or 512, whatever you like. Based on this is based on application growth, application users connectivity, database increasing growth. You have to discuss with your application team. You have to discuss with your infrastructure team. You have to discuss with your developers who is developing this application. Even sometimes you need to discuss with your manager also. The last option, manager, is not optional. It's not mandatory. Some cases to get a good name. Next thing is why you want to change in megabytes auto growth. Can I tell you? Just imagine this is one disk. Okay, this is one disk.
okay
You know how the disk will be, but no, can you tell me this should be auto hide? Here is the pin button. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm correct. This is auto hide. Okay, fine, thank you. So now I'll make it as like green. Okay, so this is my D disk. Are you trying to understand what I'm saying?
yeah
This is my D disk. So now just imagine this is I'll make it as 780 GB is used out of, I'll make it some 900 GB, whatever it is, something on an average I'm talking, okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is just for your understanding purpose, okay? Now, in this is my D disk. I have only one database in my server. In 90% of cases, only maximum 1 or 2 databases for each server. But in my project, I do have almost 50 databases. It depends, okay? Everything is not mandatory. It depends on your, I can say it as your project pay cycle, your project planning. The solution architect or designers will design accordingly, okay? Now my database
Okay.
size is some 520 GB.
Mm.
Now you did not change any maxed up like maximum auto growth. My disk file size is 520 GB. If it is
Mm.
by default is 10%, right?
Mm.
Every day it is increasing. So now it's increased. If it is increased, then how much it's going to be? It's going to be some around 520, 570 GB on an average I'm talking about. Okay. So again, it's increasing. But immediately after increasing also, immediately it's not going to use the 10%, right? Maybe it's use 1 or
Yeah.
2 GB out of it. So now again 10% is increased. Now it's going to be around more than some 635 GB around on an average. I'm not good in calculation, mathematics.
Okay. Okay.
Increasing 10%, immediately it's not going to use 10%. Now, if you don't have enough free space in your disk, what will happen? Now imagine your database size is 5 terabyte. If it is 10%, how much it's going to increase? 500 GB, right? 5.5 TB.
500.
So do you think immediately after increasing this 10% is releasing by the database?
No.
No, maximum around 1 GB or 2 GB only it will be utilizing, right? But
yeah.
So now 10% in 5 terabyte, 10% means how much? It's 500 GB. But you want only 2 or 3 GB is required.
Okay.
But remaining 498 GB is useless, right?
Yes. Yes.
Useless, but disk will be, it will become as red.
Red. Yeah.
So your application will be go out. Because there is no free space.
No. Okay.
There is no free space, but here 498 GB is useless.
Useless.
Nobody is using it. It's a free space only. But will be running out of business outage, right?
Yeah.
In this case, if you give it as some 500 MB or 202, so whatever you like, 200 to 500 MB auto growth max size, then how much it will be? Even if your database size is 5 terabyte also, how much it's going to increase? It may increase maximum 5 terabyte.
5 GB.
5 is not 500, I mean 0.5 GB. 500 MB means it's 0.5 GB.
0.5 GB. Okay.
It may increase 0.5 TB only. Again, it may increase 0.51 TB only. Again, it may increase some 1500 TB only. See how many times, even if it is increased also, SQL Server is intelligent enough. It may not increase immediately. If it is really required space extra, then only it will increase. So now maximum, like some 5.2 terabyte, it will be increasing like that. But here 500 GB immediately it's increasing based on the percentage.
Okay.
But if
so
you
it's
give,
clear. Okay.
At least somewhat you able to understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, అంటే ఇది ఓన్లీ డేటాబేస్ సైజ్ డిపెండ్స్ బట్టి మనం ఆటో అనేది మనం చెక్ చేయాలి.
I'll tell you one more thing. Now space issue, if you give it as a percentage, it's a space issue, right?
Yeah.
Another beautiful and interesting thing, Please listen carefully.
Okay.
When SQL Server increasing the data file size until it's increasing, SQL Server will not accept any transaction until increasing. For example, I'll make it very clear here. My database DB size is 1 TB. Okay. Now you made it as a 10% auto growth. Auto growth, you made it as a 10%. Now
1 GB.
Yeah, 1 GB is now this 1 TB space is, I mean, database is required additional. It's required additional 1 GB. But I mean, it's required some additional space is required. You kept it as 10%. Now it has to increase it to 11 TB, right? Sorry, no, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
Not 1 TB to 1 TB, 10% means
1 TB.
It's 10% means 100 GB.
100.
So now it should be increased to 1.1 TB, 100 GB increasing. Now how much it should be increasing? 100 GB it should increase. So how much time it is required to increase this 100 GB? Minimum some 2 minutes or 3 minutes based on your RAM and based on your processor.
Yes.
I'll make it as 2 minutes or make it as some 5 minutes. So 5 minutes is okay. 5 minutes is, what is the time now? Oh my god, 8:15. Okay, 8:30. Okay, now 5 minutes it's increasing, right? Until increasing these 5 minutes, none of the application can read and write any data with the database.
Okay.
Until this 5 minutes, database will not accept any transaction.
Transaction. Okay.
Just imagine if it is your banking application. Do you think 5 minutes out is how much crucial loss for the business?
Yes, yes.
How much critical loss for the business? Even every fraction of second transaction also pretty much important for the banking transaction. Please listen carefully. If you did not understand, please raise your question right away.
Okay.
So to increase 10% of data file growth, it may require some, hardly it may at least, even if you have high configuration server also, it may require 1 minute of time. That 1 minute of time, database will not accept any transaction. It will keep on hold. SQL Server will not reject it, but it will keep on hold.
But it keeps on hold.
It comes under the queue. It comes under the backend queue. Are you getting the point what I'm trying to say?
Yes, clear.
So in outside market people, if you're riding your bike or car, people are not getting even 30 seconds of time until the red signal is crossed. Even in the red signal and green signal, there is a one traffic signal is lane in your road, in your lane. So maximum how much time it may take? 30 seconds or maximum 45 seconds only, right?
Yeah.
Our Indian people, they don't have patience to wait the 30 seconds. They definitely, even I'm the one of the person in that.
Okay.
So I'll crash, and when the red signal is applied, I'll skip away, and I don't care whether cop is standing next right to me.
Okay.
That is how people, nobody has a time patience to wait until 30 seconds. Even you will get a frustration. See, look at the Gmail, how much big it is. There are crores, there are lakh $1 million of the customers. See how faster now. Okay, don't go much, but this is, I told you two. One is a disk issue you may face, you may get experience if you set it as 10%, disk issue will be, application performance will be decreased. Performance means 5 minutes, nobody has the patience to wait for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So daniki solution entandi atla
so go for auto growth as percentage. Sorry, megabytes, not percentage. Megabytes.
Sorry,
best advisable, best suggested by Microsoft itself, go for megabytes.
Okay.
There are a lot of consultants like me, experts, they always suggest to go megabytes, like 512. Based on this
Okay.
percentage, the number will be based on your client and based on your project growth and based on your application growth.
Okay.
In worst
Okay.
case, like 512. In most of the cases, like 200 MB is more enough.
Okay. In most of cases, in real time
Yeah.
environment.
Yes. So click on
MB is
OK.
enough.
Yes. So here I forgot to do one thing. TempDB files you have to share, change, right?
Mm.
So most of the cases, like I given almost I'll repeat it. What are all the most important? One is first I'll tell you startup it should be automatic. Next one is you have to keep
Mm.
all the database files in different disks, database log backups,
Mm.
and even disk. Why I'm saying to keep in different disks, to reduce the disk IO, to increase the disk IO speed, to speed up the
Okay.
application performance. Other thing is
Okay.
maximum memory, sorry, minimum
Mm.
and max memory. Other
Mm.
one is auto growth settings.
Mm.
The other one is max stop settings that I'll discuss later on. Now I'm not going to discuss it. You will get
Okay.
confused. So these are all the
Okay.
most important aspects, key innovation points to increase the performance of a particular application. Please keep those things in mind.
Okay.
Okay, these you may repeat it in an interview as well. So
Mm.
now I'm going to skip this point for now. Let
Mm.
me go back to our session. So now this upgradation migration, not now, it will be comes under the last of the session, not today. I mean, this required additional servers. Okay.
Mm.
So next, I think database introduction. I'll tell you if you want. I'll tell you. Maybe tomorrow I'll discuss now because I'm running out of time. This adding files, and tomorrow I'll cover these. Today we discussed almost of the two modules.
Two modules. Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow because we are running little speed because it's you requested me.
Yes. Mm.
I'm knowing because for me normally for each module it may take minimum 3 to 4 hours, like 2 to 3 days each module.
Okay.
Because few things we already discussed previously in our demo class itself. That is why
Mm.
I'm going little faster. You requested me because
Okay.
you are getting a lot of calls. It seems that is why you requested a little fast.
Mm.
Ours is like a fast track batch. This is not like regular batch. This is like a fast track batch.
Mm.
This is like fast track training. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
So till now we discussed a lot of many things. Do you have any kind of questions? My personal request is please. My personal request is please come up with a lot of questions.
Mm.
Okay. Because
Okay.
if you ask me questions, even I'll feel free and I'll feel happy that you are listening carefully, you are asking questions. Some people, like they'll never ask questions because they paid some amount and they may not interested on SQL Server. They may feel this is little a critical learning process. They may feel like that. I'm not saying that you are, because you are
Mm.
asking a lot of questions in each and every day, but come up with more questions. Okay. Tomorrow I may cover this. I think 3 modules. If I get more time, I'll cover 3 modules. Last thing is upgradation migration. Not possible initially. It may come somewhat under ending of our session, like maybe after 2 weeks, because it's required
Okay.
additional servers.
Okay. Okay. No.
Even if you
No.
want, I'll cover it tomorrow also. That's not an issue. But this is initially we are because you wanted to know what is databases, system databases, logins,
Yeah. Anta.
users.
Okay. Andy.
You
Okay.
want to know, if you know these things, then while migrating, it will be pretty easy for you
Mm.
to
Mm.
understand.
Mm.
Securities
Mm.
will, because these are also authentication types, Windows login, because we covered already.
Yeah. అవునండి. అవును.
Even the
అంటే
required
మైగ్రేషన్ అప్పుడు
models also
కూడా
we
మనకి
covered.
లాగిన్స్ ఇవన్నీ సబ్జెక్ట్ తెలిస్తేనే మనకు కొంచెం ఇంకా ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది.
Yes,
ఎందుకంటే
that is why
లాగిన్స్
I'm
అవన్నీ కొంచెం.
skipping it for in the initially trying.
ఓకే. ఓకే.
That is why
ఓకే.
I did not mark it as yellow.
ఓకే.
Okay.
ఓకే.
Okay, Ram. If you have any questions, please ask me or Slack me, or you can Facebook or whatever. If you want, you can text me in WhatsApp. call me. Anything is possible with me. I'll always available in all of the modules.
Oh.
So I'm going to stop recording for now.